Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie. I have another video for you guys this week. So being that it is around the time of the year where most of you may have gone to interviews already and are waiting on that acceptance letter, I just wanted to address this video about that. So how do you get notified from PA school? So how will they notify you that you got accepted into the program? Or, you know, if you got a rejection letter or if you got waitlisted. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Alright guys, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye! Okay, so this was one of those burning questions that when I helped out my university with the interviews, when there was applicants that we spoke to during the interview process, and if they had any questions for the first year students, this was one of the questions that was very, very common: is how long does it take for you to get notified from the school that you are accepted into the program, or if you've been rejected, or if you've been waitlisted. So I'm going to start with my timeline. When I applied to PA school, I applied in August, so I think it was mid-August when I applied. And I started getting interviews. I got an interview in September for a school in California that I was waitlisted the year prior. And then I got an interview. And then after that, I got an interview for UTRGV, which is the school where I got accepted to. Got an interview invite in October, at the beginning of October. For the interview was in November. And then after that, I started getting more interview invites for the schools, so they were coming in. So I got the interview invite in October for UTRGV, and I had my interview in November. I think it was like the last 2 weeks of November. I think it was definitely before Thanksgiving break. So I went to my interview, and I interviewed, and I was really nervous because I felt like I didn't do as well as I should have. I got really, really nervous, but I poured my heart out, and I tried to give it my best. But as always, my nerves always get to me, and that is still the case now in PA school. But yeah, so I went through my interview and everything. I remember I went down and I talked to my husband, because my husband was waiting for me. He's like, how'd it go? And I was like, I don't know if I did good, whole scene, blah, 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 etc. So then I had I had that. Once I was done with the interview, December came around, and then Christmas came around, and I had not gotten any notification whatsoever. So I started Googling, how long does it take to get notified from the schools? And then I started stalking the web pages for UTRGV for the application. And then I saw all these students saying that they were accepted into the program. And I was just like, well, why haven't I gotten an acceptance? And some of these students had also interviewed in November or even earlier than me, and they were getting acceptances. So I was like, what's going on? Like, I'm not getting accepted. So I was just getting really nervous. And finally, the last week of December, it was after Christmas, a few days after Christmas, I got my acceptance letter, and it was just the best feeling ever to get accepted into PA school. So that was in November when I got my interview. So it was about a month for me to get notified that I was accepted into PA school. Now, that was just my case. That's not the case for a lot of students, or for all the students that applied to PA school. Some of the students in my class, now that I've gotten to know most of them, I like to know their journey to PA school. And you may have watched some of the videos of some of the students that I did interview for my class, how they were accepted to PA school, what their background was, etc. Some of them got notified the next day, or some of them even got notified the following week they were accepted into PA school. And one of the students from my class, she's super smart. She's probably one of the top students from my entire program. She actually was waitlisted, and she didn't get notified until I think she said she was waitlisted in like January, and she didn't get notified she got into the program until March or April. So it was a few months, and she got taken off the wait list, and she was accepted into the program. So she didn't get notified until then. So, and then some other students also from my program, it took them about 2-3 months to get notified from the program that they were accepted into the program. So yeah, that's about the range of how long it takes to get accepted into the program. It really depends. Some schools do have a scoring system for applicants. I was able to hear and also learn a little bit about the interview process and the acceptance process. And some of the programs do get together the admissions committee and they go over applications, and then they decide on whether they're going to accept this individual or not. But it's several individuals from the admissions committee debating on whether to accept a student or not, and whether, if they are going to accept them, if there's any red flags. And so there's this discussion going on before a student is accepted. So that's why it may take a while for you to hear back from the program. But when you are notified, I got an email. So I got an email and it had the date of when I was accepted into the program. And it's just the best feeling, guys. It really is the best feeling, because you felt like you've accomplished so much, and it's just a stepstone to starting your PA career. So it's just fantastic. So I got notified by an email. Most schools do notify their students by email. It was interesting because some of the schools that I got rejected from, I got notified by email. Some of them notified me by mail, and the term snail mail, because literally it is snail mail, because it was dated that I was rejected like in April, and I didn't get the mail or letter until May. So that's why it's snail mail, because it took me a while. And I was wondering, like, why haven't I heard from this school? Like, I've heard from all these schools. I've done emails on whether I've been rejected or waitlisted, and I haven't heard anything from this school. And so yeah, snail mail. So some schools do send snail mail. Some of them, majority of them will send emails. Majority of them have adopted the email that they will send you whether you're rejected or whether you were waitlisted. When I was waitlisted, the first application that I applied, I interviewed in March, towards the beginning of March, and it took me about a month and a half to find out that I was waitlisted. So I was waitlisted about at the end of April, and then after that, I didn't hear anything from the school until August. Literally at the end of August, that I was rejected because I was not taken off the wait list, so I was finally rejected. So that one did take a while. And for rejection letters, those actually did take a lot longer than being waitlisted or accepted. Some of them took me months. I know some of the schools I applied to, most of them I applied to in August, like I submitted my CASP application, and some of them I didn't hear from until January, February, March. So it was definitely like the following year when I started getting the rejection letters. So it did take longer to get those rejection letters. But I know there was one school that I submitted the application, and then my CASP application, and then they required a supplemental application, and I submitted literally like the following day, and then the week later I was rejected. I think there was only one school that was pretty quick in rejecting me, but majority of them, it took them a while. I wasn't rejected until January, February, March, April, so until the next year. And once again, those were also, the majority of them were email. Some of them, very few of them, were by snail mail, but most of them were email. Alright guys, so that was just a video just talking about, how you are notified whether you are accepted into the program or whether you have been rejected from the program or you've been waitlisted. So let me know if you guys have been accepted into a program, if you guys got an interview, congratulations guys. Alright guys, I'll talk to you guys later. If you guys have any comments or any feedback for me, make sure you comment below or send me an email, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Alright guys, I'll talk to you guys later.